Hey y'all, my name is Rylan. Welcome to my channel. Today, I feel like I always start off my videos with the word today. I need to change that. Anyway, I am really excited about today's video, not because it's anything super original, but because I'm here to talk about one of my favorite tropes of all time, which is probably a basic trope, but I'm here with 5 recommendations about that include the enemies to lovers romance trope. Now, some of these are plain old spicy Kindle Unlimited romances, but I've got a historical romance recommendation as well as a couple of contemporary recommendations. So I'm excited to share these 5 books with y'all. These are all books that I've rated 4 or 5 stars. I am very picky about the books that I give 5 stars, so I loved every book here that I'm going to talk about. I just didn't give them all 5 stars. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and just dive into this video, start talking about the books. I will include trigger warnings for all of them in the description down below. I do like including those, when I have read the books and talk about them. That way y'all can know if you are potentially interested in reading these books, but want to look at the trigger warnings before going into them. So I'll have those down below, as well as each book listed next to an affiliate link for each one. So the first book that I have on my list, and the only one that I currently have physically, is Tryst 6 Venom by Penelope Douglas. I don't think it's a secret on my channel that I'm a big Penelope Douglas fan. I have read 3 or 4 of their books and have thoroughly enjoyed every one of them. Tryst 6 Venom is a sapphic enemies to lovers bully romance. Takes place in a high school between Clay and Olivia, who are basically mortal enemies who also kind of have feelings for each other. They just aren't willing to admit it. So they have this secret pining thing going on. There are spicy moments, there are sad moments. I have tons of tabs in my copy. We've got some big sad moments, we got some spice and some funny moments and happy moments between our 2 main characters as they finally accept their feelings for each other and embrace who they are. This one was a really fun time. I will say that this book did get 4 stars. I struggled a lot at the beginning. I would say for the first 150 pages or so, I was not a huge fan. I was just kind of confused, I think, by the writing. Like, the way that it was flowing was just kind of confusing for me. But once I got into it again at like the 150 page mark, because this one is a chunker, I fell in love with it and was addicted to Clay and Olivia. Yeah, as I mentioned, this one is really big. It's like 500 pages. No, it's 568 pages. So it's balancing closer toward that 600 page mark. So it's a big one. But I would say that overall, very engaging, very captivating and addicting, and I loved it. The rest of the books I do not have physically, so I will share a picture on the screen somewhere. Also, before I go on to the second book, this is on Kindle Unlimited. Last time I checked, which was the day before I filmed this video, so yesterday, October 30th. I'm assuming that it is still on there by the time that this video gets uploaded. The second book that I have in this enemies to lovers recommendations list is The Sinner by Kelsey Clayton. This is about Savannah and Grayson, who used to be best friends, but Savannah somehow betrays Grayson and their friendship is over. It's now their senior year of high school, and Grayson is back in town and he is there for revenge. For the rest of the books here, I did write down like a part of the synopsis, the official synopsis, to share, because their words are always way better than mine. So let me just read this little blurb that I have right here. They say revenge is a dangerous game, but I've never been one to play it safe. There's nothing I'll love more than to find her weakness and use it to destroy her. The lie she told all those years ago will be her undoing. Savannah Montgomery may be the queen of the rich and entitled, but she's about to meet her match. So this one has very, very, very strong hate to love vibes. It's got those revenge bully vibes as well. I remember reading this book in the car on my way to a baby shower last year, and I was screaming internally because by the end of the book, I was in pain, but in like a really good way, if that makes sense. So this book is also on Kindle Unlimited. It has it all. It's got the spice, it's got the angst and the heartbreak and the sadness and the happiness by the end of the novel, and I loved it. The third recommendation that I have for y'all is actually a historical romance recommendation. I love historical romances, don't read them enough, but this book has stayed with me since I read it probably early last year. It was definitely sometime in 2021. I just don't remember when. And that book is A Reckless Match by Kate Bateman. This book is about our main characters, Madeline and Griff. They have been in a family feud for generations. Their families are mortal enemies, and this has transferred down to Madeline and Griff as well. They were childhood nemesis. This little blurb that I had from the synopsis says, the only exciting thing in the dull countryside will be seeing the fiery Maddie Montgomery. This is from like Griff's point of view. Thoughts of his nemesis sustained Griff throughout the war, but the girl he loved to tease has grown into a gorgeous, headstrong woman who loathes him just as much as she ever did. Will secret tunnels, dangerous smugglers, and meddling from their feuding families be enough to make Maddie and Griff realize that their animosity is really attraction and maybe even love? The fourth recommendation is, I don't know if this is a very hyped book, but I feel like it is semi-hyped. And that is The Worst Best Man by Mia Sosa. This is an ex-fiance's brother romance, but they're also enemies. So like, you got it all right there. This is about Lena, who was stood up the night before her wedding or the day of her wedding. Her fiance decides that he does not want to marry her because the brother, whose name is Max, who is the male main character, kind of convinces him to not. Turns out everybody's drunk. Is that really what happened? Who knows? But the wedding is called off, and Lena is furious with Max. And they end up having to work together for a project for their works, and yeah, they're very hesitant about it, but as they continue to work together and grow closer, something changes between them and sparks fly. The blurb that I have for this book is, if they can survive the next few weeks and nail their presentation without killing each other, they'll both come out ahead. Except Max has been public enemy number one ever since he encouraged his brother to jolt the bride, and Lena's ready to dish out a little payback of her own. But even the best laid plans can go awry, and soon Lena and Max discover animosity may not be the only emotion creating sparks between them. I listened to this on audiobook back in February, and when I tell you that I was blushing, I was blushing. Max, I don't know who read from Max's perspective, but I'm kind of obsessed with him, and I was obsessed. I was blushing. He has a very dirty mouth, which I don't always expect. And, you know, those cutesy illustrated covers that tend to make up the contemporary romance subgenre, and I was very impressed in the end. The final book on my recommendations list is Tools of Engagement by none other than a queen herself, Tessa Bailey. I have only read like 3 books by Tessa Bailey, but I have really enjoyed all of them. This book I did give 4 stars, and I thought it was fabulous. This one is about Bethany and Wes. Bethany is a designer and Wes is a construction worker. They end up having to work together when Bethany gets the opportunity to be in a flipping show against her brother, I believe, and she wants to show him that like she has what it takes to be a leader, to do these projects on her own. And she's not very happy that Wes has to be the one to work with her, but as they're working together, you know, sparks fly and it gets really spicy between them. As the race renovates to heat up, Wes and Bethany are forced into close quarters, trading barbs and biting banter as they remodel the ugliest house on the block. It's a labor of love, hate, and everything in between, and soon sparks are flying. But Bethany's perfectly structured life is one kiss away from going up in smoke, and she knows falling for a guy like Wes could be a flipping disaster. This is the 3rd book in a series, but it's all companion novels. So I think I probably should have read the 1st and 2nd books first, just because I would have liked to know more about the other couples who were kind of in this book, but Tools of Engagement was gifted to me by Avon or William Morrow at the time, so I didn't really think about doing that. But I think regardless, it's a companion novel, so while you see those characters already get together and like be showcased in the third book, it didn't really spoil anything for me. I just think I would have liked to have that context. But regardless, I love this book. I love the spice. Tessa Bailey is a really great romance writer, and I'm very excited about her books coming out next year. I need to read more by her because I've really enjoyed what I have read so far. So these are my 5 enemies to lovers romance recommendations for y'all today. Whether I gave these books 4 or 5 stars, I still really enjoyed each and every one of them, and just think that romance, it's my favorite genre for a reason, and these books just help highlight that because they all use the enemies to lovers trope to create the tension and the angst and the anger, while also leading to some really heartwarming, happy, relatable, sad moments, and I just love them all. So if y'all have any enemies to lovers recommendations or just romance recommendations, feel free to comment down below and let me know. I am always looking for new romance books to add to my TBR. Not that I need to be doing that, but it's fine. Anyway, thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video.